It's That Other Review Show, brought to you by Two Black Labs Audio and a week in Geekdom.
Welcome everybody to another installment of That Other Review Show. I am your host Giovanni Menendez, and on this very special episode, we're going to be reviewing the next adventure in DC animated land, and of course we're talking about Justice League War. This movie came out a couple weeks ago, but we decided to review it now that the official Blu-ray release is upon us. We of course had it a couple weeks ago via iTunes, but we decided to wait and to honor the traditional DVD release with a review. How's that sound? Now, Justice League War. This movie, of course, adapts the New 52 origin story for the team. Some things were tweaked around. Obviously, the inclusion of Shazam instead of Aquaman was met with great controversy, if you will, especially myself. I am a huge Aquaman fan, so I was a little bit worried with how the movie would go about in representing these characters. Now, the actual movie is pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. The action is fast-paced. The animation is pretty solid. It looks and feels like a DC movie that actually it should be a live-action movie, but, well, you know how that goes. But, yeah, Justice League War, it actually... if you take into consideration the original source material, then yes, it does a fantastic job of adapting new 52 stuff into animation form first. The action. Holy crap, folks. This is a slugfest from start to finish. I was really surprised at how awesome the fight turned out to be. And if you think about it, basically, and I don't mean this as a disservice, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but basically, Justice League War is a mix between Mass Effect 2 and the Avengers movie. Think about that, folks. Because you had the Harvesters, if you will, with the Parademons, and you did see their colony in Apocalypse, and of course you saw the big battle. It wasn't in New York, but it was the big battle against all the Parademons and Darkseid himself. The voice acting is pretty spot on and actually well made. I had some qualms with certain characters and the way they sounded, but that's just me personally. I know for a fact that the cast was really well-rounded. Andrea Romano did a fantastic job, as usual, in picking out actors that best suited these characters and brought them to life. And in this movie specifically, you get the sense that everybody can work together with each other, of course. The running time is a little short. I believe this is an hour and some minutes, like all the other ones. This one actually didn't really need extra time because this is a glorified fight from beginning to end, if you will. We know that Darkseid is invading the planet Earth, but for what reasons, you're going to have to read the comic books to find out. But no comic books, no live action. This is strictly DC animated territory. And what better way to kick off what was recently announced as the new cohesive universe of DC animated movies. This is the starting point, if you will. Flashpoint began the whole thing, and now we know that basically Justice League War and all the following movies are going to be in continuity with each other. And it's actually a pretty cool idea. I'll go into that in a little bit. But first, of course, let's talk about characters. Just like the original book, Superman is still a douche. Green Lantern is a little bit more annoying in the movie, but at the same time, he was pretty spot on hilarious with some of his dialogue. Green Lantern was hilarious, of course, his banter. And I will say, my friends pointed out this little fact. If you watch the movie again, basically, I kept hearing Hal Jordan. That was okay. But all the quips and the way he expressed himself and all the stuff he did was, to me, straight up Kyle Rayner, and I would have preferred a little less spunk, if you will, from the character. Michelle Monaghan, she did a fantastic job as Wonder Woman, and basically the character, to me, just whooped everybody's ass throughout the whole thing. She had the best scenes, the best fight scenes, in my opinion. Her dialogue was genuine, fun. All her scenes were pretty badass. Where compared to characters like Batman, that we've seen him operate so many times, it was just okay. I was like, yeah, it's just Bats doing his thing. Cyborg, of course, a lot of people love him. I'm a huge fan from the Teen Titans day, so I was really glad. Just like the comic book, they really stepped up the character, and he is a powerhouse in the New 52. Flash, unfortunately, didn't really do much other than just help them out and fight. Like, I think he could have done a little bit more. Um, then again, you had 7 characters to juggle with, so I completely understand that some of these guys are going to get sidelined a little bit for others to get the spotlight, I guess. Of course, the inclusion of Shazam, which it actually worked well within the movie. I liked him because I am a big Shazam fan, as you can see on my shirt. The idea to swap out Aquaman and add a Shazam was to add a little bit more humor and lightheartedness to the whole thing, which I guess you could say it works, but at the same time, it's an invasion. It's a war, basically. They're fighting for the survival of humanity and the planet Earth. So I really don't think you should be worried about jokes, but that's just me. Of course, we have Hal Jordan, Barry Allen, Flash, Green Lantern, and Flash, respectively. I did think Shazam basically was a little bit too much in this movie in the sense that on his power level side, he kind of covered base with Superman and Wonder Woman, and on the comedic value, you already had Green Lantern and well, Flash was really underused in this film, in my opinion. But you had both these characters that are quite quippy. So yeah, I felt he was an amalgam of the weaknesses and strengths of this Justice League movie. But regardless, the animation was solid. Of course, it was very Young Justice like. I really appreciated that. Aquaman, I was missing my favorite dude fighting. And of course, the infamous shark scene, which, yeah, it's pretty badass, if you ask me. Justice League War, of course, features a stinger scene like Flashpoint Paradox did with the leading up to this movie. You actually, well, I'm not going to spoil it. You should watch it. Go ahead, watch it, and then come back. I thought it was pretty cool. And it's basically setting up for one of my favorite DC New 52 stories right here, folks. It's going to be awesome, and I am wholeheartedly excited about it. I cannot wait to see that. Now, I had one big qualm in this movie, and I'm, of course, talking about Darkseid himself. Steve Blum did a magnificent job, as always. However, I don't know if call me a noob, call me a VO fanatic, or whatever, folks. I didn't really like the all the vocal effects they used on Darkseid. I thought it was a little bit too much. Steve Blum's voice by itself is pretty badass. Anyways, I didn't see the need as an audio geek, as an audio fan, to have the what I like to call the big Star Fox Andros voice.
Ha ha ha! You can never defeat me!
Where everything sounds like it's just a generic monster of the week. I really thought this was the weakest sounding Darkseid in the history of Darkseid in animation. And obviously, you cannot replicate Michael Ironside, which is one of the classics. But still, Steve's voice by itself, and I remember the teaser trailers for Justice League War. It had an unfiltered voice for the character, and I thought he sounded perfect. I was okay with it. I don't know what happened. Maybe they were not satisfied with it, but to me, I thought they would have left it as it is. I was not expecting to hear that just really cheesy bad guy monster overlord type vocal effect. I guess, you got to be in there to make the choices. So who am I to pick on this effect? So yeah, Justice League War. Do I recommend it? holy crap, do I recommend it? Yes, sir. It's one of DC's finest efforts in animation form. It looks spectacular. Shout out once again. Wonder Woman stole the show to me. She was the perfect character in this. She kicked an amazing amount of ass, and I love the character design. I know a lot of people hated the new costume. I thought it was pretty cool looking in and of itself. I did miss the New 52 costume, but nothing was lost. The character was there in all her glory, if you will. It was a great version of her, and this just solidifies the fact that Wonder Woman deserves much more attention than what she's getting. The New 52 proved that this Wonder Woman is amazing. Of course, there is a difference between how Jeff Jones and Brian Azzarello writes the character. That much is pretty obvious. However, she's just a badass, and what a good way to get people's attention and say, hey, it's not just the old Linda Carter stuff. This new stuff is pretty cool, and dare I say, a million times better. I do recommend this. This is easily a blind purchase. The movie's great, fantastic voice acting, minus the whole dark side thing. And the characterization is just as good as the New 52 stuff, but movie-wise, it doesn't really matter, I suppose, because it's a brand new ball game now. I think it's a great idea that basically what we're going to do from now on is we're going to be getting 3 movies a year, and at least 2 of them will be in continuity with each other. Of course, Justice League War is the starting point. We do know, and it's actually pretty ingenious. Son of Batman is coming in May, and yes, it is confirmed that it follows the Justice League War timeline. That's pretty cool. You're adapting a Grant Morrison run, which was pretty badass in and of itself, and you're adding this completely brand new twist to it. I just think it's going to be awesome. I'm a huge fan of altering these type of stories in a way that works best for new audiences. Obviously, we didn't really see this with Justice League War because it was pretty straight up a faithful adaptation of the fight, basically. Justice League War, man, it's finally upon us. The Blu-ray looks fantastic. The images are crisp. The sounds are awesome. If there's anything wrong with it, aside from my nitpicking, I would say it doesn't have a lot of depth to it, other than just being, the formation of a team against a global threat. And yeah, I've kind of seen this before, and I made the joke earlier, this movie basically reminded me of Mass Effect 2 with the Collectors and the Harvester and all that stuff, as well as Avengers, because, yeah, I mean, Chitauri, Parademons, Thanos, Darkseid, all that was missing was the anti-life equation. That would have been badass, but we're not up to that point yet, so folks. Yeah, it's a good, senseless, fun movie that any DC fan should watch and should enjoy. So, to me, easily 9 out of 10, 4.5 out of 5, whatever you want to rate it, I really don't care. This is That Other Review Show. We don't do it like they do. How do I recommend this? How do I rate this? It's a highly recommended film. What else do you need, right, folks? So, yeah, you should get it ASAP. Go do that right now and watch it. I guarantee you'll have a badass time watching it. And, of course, that stinger scene, man, at the end, I gotta say, I'm pretty psyched. So thank you, DC, for at least compensating me with a full-on Aquaman movie. That is just amazing. I think it's going to be pretty badass. So, yeah, there you have it, folks. If you want us to review stuff, just let us know. Write to us on our comments below. You can send us some feedback via Facebook, Twitter, or email. You can follow us on our main website. That's at weekingeekdom.com. You can subscribe to our videos here on YouTube. And, of course, you can look for our other shows, such as What If, A Week in Geekdom, and, of course, That Other Review Show. So we're going to wrap it up, folks. I'm going to go ahead and watch it again because it's that badass. And I am going to wait anxiously for Son of Batman, which is coming out in May. We'll probably put up a review once it hits store shelves. And yeah, we'll be seeing you on another epic installment of That Other Review Show. I am your host, Giovanni Menendez. Thank you, folks, for watching, and I will see all of you laters.
Remember to subscribe, or you can like and follow us on social media, or just follow us on our main website, that's aweekingeekdom.com.
If I go down, I'm taking you with me.